Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Horizons series, episode 5. No, I'm just kidding. This is no longer Horizons. Um, ooh, and that is a mana elemental. Let's get rid of this guy. Um, it's true. This is no longer the Horizon series. Horizon series is dead, unfortunately. I was enjoying the way that was going, but unfortunately, FTB decided to make too many changes in it, and it was requiring just consistent world resets. So I ended up having to abandon it. Got tired of waiting, and convinced Team Raven to. We decided to restart our server, start up a new mod pack, and I convinced them to add metallurgy into it. And we also have Pam's Harvest Craft and the Hunger Overhaul mod. So things are a little different, but once again, I am building my greenhouse that I had before. Modified the layout a little bit, but it's obviously going to be quite big again. I've got some of the trees growing already, and got almost every crop that I went through the NEI and I found everything that said there was seeds for it for Pam's Harvest Craft. And the only two I'm missing are kiwi and spice leaf. And I did hear that there's some spice leaf waiting for me at back at our spawn village. So I do need to get out there and pick that up one of these days. And here's the tower I'm building. So I decided to go with a mage tower. Kind of appropriate. And right now, this is going to be the basement. Eventually, it's going to be like tanks and everything down here as I expand everything upstairs a little bit. So right now, I've got my Tinker's Construct smeltery and a bunch of chests dividing things up for easy sorting. And it's working for now, but as I start getting into things like magic and stuff like that, which this one is, I'm going to have to, expand the sorting out a little bit better. And down this hallway here, we have a mine shaft and a room set up for the ore berries and a mushroom farm. And then as we go up here, this incomplete floor, this one leads out to where I've started my Ars Magica stuff. Not sure if this room is going to stay or if I'm going to redesign it. I want it to be like a little sub tower coming off the main tower here, but I don't really like the way this one looks, so definitely need to do some work on it. And that's kind of funky. My spell book is gone. That's quite interesting. Oh. Yep, my spell is gone. Oh well, not a big deal. We'll get into remaking spells later anyway. But I have started Ars Magica, and so far I have studied or learned projectile physical damage and fire damage. I haven't made any fire damage spells. I just made the one rock toss projectile spell that I had before, but definitely going to be making a lot more and a lot fancier ones. Can't wait to get into that. And going to get into Thaumcraft right away, as in pretty much right now. We have a spawn village that we're setting up with a giant trading post. Basically different shops, stuff like that, where each member on the server is going to be, if they want to set up a shop, start trading stuff. And one thing that I've decided I'm going to do is set up a golem house, a golem shop, so people can come in there and buy their golems rather than learning to make them themselves and going through all that hassle. So it's going to be a long road to get there, but we need to start with the Thaumcraft. I can never say this word. This is your knowledge book for Thaumcraft. Now, I found 2 of them in my travels, so I don't need to make one. But if you need to make one from scratch, they're fairly simple. You need a bookshelf, and then you right click on that with an iron capped wooden wand, or really any wand. For a wooden wand, which is exactly what we're going to make now, we need iron caps and a stick. Pretty easy to make. So let's come over here, and we're going to need 10 iron ingots. So we should be able to use this iron ore berry for one of them. So if I turn this ingot into nuggets, and then spread these out in this cap pattern, that gives me 1. And do this. There we go, I get 2. Now we're going to combine those with a stick. And I don't have any sticks ready, so let's go ahead and make a couple. Alright, and as we make higher tiered wands, we'll use different materials to hold more charges, give us better results. Alright, there we go. Iron capped wooden wand. So to make the Thermometer, you would right click on a bookshelf with the iron capped wand. Since we already got that, we don't need it. But what we do need to make is some tables. We need an arcane work table and a research table. 3 of these workbenches. So it's going to be planks and slabs. So pretty easy construction. So I'm going to need 9 slabs. That'll work. And 6 planks. There we go. Alright, planks across the top. Or slabs across the top, and then planks gives us the tables. And also going to need a set of scribing tools. So for that, let's see. Let's look in the book here. For the research table, you need to use add scribing tools to it. So we need a glass file, feather, and some sort of black dye or an ink sac. Glass files are just glass blocks and clay. Very cheap recipe. Although they do add up, and we will end up using quite a bit of them through the time doing Thaumcraft work. Okay, clay and glass. So 3 of those with a clay stopper. Gives me 8 files. Very nice. And I have the ink sacs on me, so we just need a feather. I think I've got some over here. There we go. And I don't think I can make it in this window. Yes, I can. Look at that. Alright, let's go set this up. I'm going to want to put this up probably on just on this first floor for now. Not sure where everything's going to end up getting put. It might get moved later on, but for now, we're going to get this set up here. Now, I am on a half slab floor, so that, of course, causes things to end up getting put together kind of funky. Alright, so we put those tables down, right-click on it with the scribing tools. Same thing here, we put this table down, right-click on it with a wand. And then we have the Arcane Table. Now this you can combine with the wand. Use the wand as to apply magic onto something as you craft items. One thing we're going to have to do is get some magical charges on this wand. Now the magical charges, you're going to use essence for your magical charge on your wands. And essence are aspects. Everything in the world is created of 2 different aspects. Now, each aspect that it's made out of could be made of 2 other aspects as well. So, but everything ultimately breaks down to primal aspects. And you've got air, earth, fire, water, order, and entropy. Or air, terra, ingus, aqua, ordo, and perdido. And you can combine these to make more compound aspects. And then compound aspects combine together to make even more compound aspects. Now, these numbers that you see in the Thermometer, the magic book, these represent how many of these aspects we have stored up in our knowledge base. And as we research items on this table, we're going to use some of these aspects, in that process. So we will get into that more later. Definitely, it's going to be a lot of that involved. And I'll show you exactly how we do that research. But in the meantime, we need to go and find aspects out in the world. And to do that, we need a thermometer, which is pretty easy. It's just two shards of any kind, two gold and a glass. Now, we can also make these goggles of revealing, but I don't know how to make them yet, so we're going to have to research that. So for the meantime, we're going to start with just the basic thermometer. So I've got magic stuff over here. And these shards, you will find these out in the world as you're mining. You'll find like a block of air shards and fire shards, stuff like that. You break them, you get like 1 to 4 out of them. So we're just going to grab 2 of these. I got a whole lot of these earth shards. So let's use these. So I know I need 2 of those. I need 1 piece of glass. And then 2 pieces of gold. Like that. Now let's put all this together. Gold there and shards there, and there we go. Now this lets you, it's like a looking glass to see the magical aspects of things, to see what things are made of. Now, let's see. So here's some stone. If we look at this and we right click, it's going to study this. And it learns that stone is made out of saxum. Now, saxum is not a primary element. If we look in the magic book here, you see we learned something. So now there's a highlight here on the basic information and highlight on the aspects of magic, saying that we've learned a new aspect. So you can see saxum is made out of 2 elements of terra. So we now have 4, if we look in here, we now have 4 points of research into this. As we discover that a block has, or an item has a certain aspect in it, we learn some knowledge points for that aspect to use in our research. And so we can study water and we get aqua. And as we go along, we're going to find, more and more things. If you don't know either the aspects that an item is made out of, or the aspects that its aspects are made out of, you can't. You're not going to be allowed to know what it is. So here's a crafting station. If I right click here, shift and right click. If a block has a right click ability, like crafting station, you right click it, you get to use it. Hold shift and right click, and you'll actually scan it. Now in the bottom right corner of the screen, it says you don't have all the knowledge required to learn anything here. You don't have all the knowledge required to understand this. That means there's aspects that make this up that I have no clue about and I can't learn. You have to know the aspects that make up an aspect in order to learn it. So if I study this torch, here I just learned Lux. There's a zombie over my head. It kind of creeped me out. So if we look back in our book, look at the aspects. So I've learned Lux, which is made of air and ignis. Okay. I was able to learn that because I already knew air and I already knew Ingus, because they are basic elements. And we can come down, we can study all sorts of things. Now, like you can see there, cobblestone stairs give me one thing, and if I find a cobblestone block, I can also research that. So, even though something's made of the same material as something you already studied, but if it's in a different form, you can study that. Basically, if it's a different entity, if it has a different basically things don't stack, they're going to have different aspects. If it's a different item ID, it's going to have a different aspects. You can research it again. All right, so here I learned another aspect. This time this is made of saxum and aqua. So you can see that saxum is not a primary element. So, or primary aspect. So, but because I knew it, I was able to learn vitreous. So even though I didn't know what vitreous was, I was able to study this apatite because I was able to learn vitreous. Now, if we come down in here, see, mine shafts can be fun because they've got all sorts of different things in there. Now, you'd think, this is something that really threw me for a long time. Learning things like wood, which you think is a basic component because it's everywhere. It's one of your basic building blocks. Well, wood is basically originally made out of a living material. So it's actually a much more complex item than you would initially expect. So because of that, it definitely takes longer to learn. Now this one, it says nothing can be learned from this. This is salt ore from Pam's Harvestcraft. So what that means is that just this item hasn't been incorporated into Thaumcraft. And no matter how much stuff I learn, I'm never going to get anything out of this. Now, I am going to spend a lot of time running around, scanning and researching different things, and coming back and re-scanning things. Because if it says you don't have the knowledge yet, as you scan more items and learn more aspects, go back to that original block and rescan it, and maybe you'll actually be able to learn something out of it. It just takes time and a lot of scanning. Okay, I've been doing quite a bit of running around my base and going through all my chests and everything, scanning everything I've got, trying to learn as many different aspects as I can. And I haven't learned that many yet. I've learned a couple different ones. So a lot of items I scan, I can't actually learn anything from yet. So like, say this copper gravel ore, I scan this, I'm still unable to learn anything. And unfortunately, a lot of mods aren't integrated with Thaumcraft, so they don't have anything yet. And this right here that I'm doing, this is part of Pam's Harvestcraft. This is a meal. It's called a delighted meal, which is something I made. I'll get into making some of this stuff later, but it fills up to 8 hunger bars, which is awesome. But in the scanning, what I wanted to show you is when you're looking through the Thermometer or using the goggles of revealing, every once in a while you'll see a bright spot like that one right, if you look right in the center. Now, the farther away you get, the harder it is to see. There, you should be able to see that now. That is an aura node. And you'll come across these in the world. You can see it as like a little cloud almost when you're running around, and when you get on it, like if you have Wayla or something running, it'll show you it's an aura node. But these you can also scan, and so like this has 27 air, 27 ignis, and 27 terra in it. And you can use this to charge a wand. If you right click at it, and just hold right click with a wand, it'll start absorbing these. Now, I've got the iron capped wand, so it charges fairly slowly. And one of the nice things is it only holds 25 aspects of each of the six aspects. So as I look at this, there'll still be 2 of each left in there. This will recharge over time unless you completely drain it. If you drain one of these to 0, there is a chance that it will never recharge those again. So you just got to be careful when you're charging your wands and stuff like that. And those aspects that I put into the wand, so look at it now, it shows me that I've got those. Those aspects will be used for, when you're crafting various things. Let's see what we got. Oil. Can I scan oil? Nope. And nothing can be learned, so I won't be able to ever learn anything from oil. So I'm going to continue to look around and scan more stuff, see if I can find and learn anything amazing. And one of these times I'm going to scan something and it's just going to open up my research. Because right now I still can't can't learn anything from plants. Hello, little slime. He must have fallen down from that slime island up there. Interesting. So yeah, I still can't learn anything from plants, unfortunately. Once I do, that will be able to really open up a lot more options. Sandstone I already got, dirt I already got. So it doesn't differentiate between dirt and tilled dirt. Let's see, wooden doors, anything? Nothing? So, alright, I'm going to continue with this and be back in a bit. Okay, so I've been out running around doing a little bit of scanning stuff with my thermometer. And let's just double check these, see if I can learn anything yet. Nope, still nothing. But now I wanted to show you real quick how to do some of the research. Because in this book, you'll find all these things. Some of them are lit up, meaning that you're at the point where you can now research this, and other stuff that you can't even get to yet. Some stuff is already shown in here. There's a lot of stuff that's not even shown yet, that either you'll have to discover some things along its path before you can see it, or you might have to research that to even be able to start. Like do a discovery to be able to start it. But in the recent update, they've changed the way you can start some of this research. And you can see it in some of the notes on here. Like in this one, it says in red, which may be hard to read, it says, you need scribing tools and paper to get this research note. Now, previously, you would just have this one flashing and you knew it was a copper wand cap. And so you would have to just find something to research to get it, like maybe use copper or magic or something. But now, on the research table, we have scribing tools here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these. Now, if we look back in the book, it says you can click to get research notes for this research, which is pretty cool. It kind of really takes a lot of the guesswork out of this, which I'm kind of torn on that, because to me it was kind of like a mini game trying to find some of this stuff. But I do want to get these goggles of revealing. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this to get the research notes. And now if we look in our inventory, we're going to see right here research notes for goggles of revealing. We go and put the scribing tools back in here, and we put the research notes in here. Now we've got this whole thing showing up. And this is very different from what I've seen before. Okay, so after doing a little bit of research and experimenting, I figured out, how to do this research. Basically, my assumption on it was pretty much completely wrong. All right, so let's go back to looking at the book. I want to study this Hungry Chest recipe. So I've got the scribing tools and paper in my inventory. So I click on this. It gives me the... Oh, it actually completely completes the research for that one. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and buy the research notes for the straw golems, because I want to get going on golems very, very quickly here. All right. So I now have research notes for the straw golems. If I put the scribing tools in here and put the research notes in here, I now see these 4 aspects in here. Now what has to happen is you have to connect these aspects. You have to connect all the aspects around the board. To do that, you're going to make chains of aspects across the board using aspects that are used to make or used by the aspect that you're building off of. So basically, like this, what is this one? This is modus. I know this one. So either the aspects that are used to create modus or any aspect that modus is used to create can go adjacent to this and work to build the line off of there. So we got modus and spiritus here. So if we look in the book, up at the basic information under the aspects, we can see that modus right here is made of air and aqua. And then spiritus is made of victus and mortis. So you want to look for aspects that you can kind of use to connect these, and kind of pull them all together. Now here we see modus uses air. Air is also used in census. Well, so is spiritus, and that's mortis, not modus. Oh, spiritus is the one we're connecting to. So spiritus can connect to census. So if we look in here, but I'm going to need 4 in between here, so it's not going to be quite enough. But to give you an idea, so we said spiritus can connect to census. So if we drag this one onto the board, place it right next to it, you can see it forms a line between these. If we put one out here that it can't connect to, say a piece of Terra, it comes in just as a kind of a black shaded, there's no line connecting it, which means you can't use it. So you just click on it and it will erase it. So we said what air was used in modus. So now I need 2 pieces that are going to connect census and air. So if we look in here, census has air and spiritus. So basically, at that point, if I put air, then anything that uses air can come next. See if I got something that has a lot of air in it. Arbor. I've got tons of arbor. So looking back at this, we have air here. I can put another air right there, and then an arbor connecting them, and now it forms a line straight between these. So now I just need to repeat that for these ones, and then it will complete the research. And I'll show you that in just a moment. Okay, so you can see here now that I've connected all of the primary aspects, or all the initial aspects together. It doesn't form a full circle. It doesn't have to. It just, each one of them has to be connected in the pattern. And I know from some of the other ones I've done that you don't have to go in a circle, that each one only connects to one other. You can do a cross pattern and stuff like that. So I could have come all the way across, like diagonally, and then met up another one, cutting into that, stuff like that. So as long as these lines are connecting each of the primary, or each of the initial aspects, that's going to complete it. So now that it's completed, we've got the scroll up here. So we're going to take that, put that in our active toolbar, right click on it to learn it, and now in the book we will have straw golems. And now it's unlocked a whole bunch of new stuff for us. So I am going to work on learning more recipes, and then it's going to be time for, I'm pretty sure, more Thaumcraft stuff in the next episode. So I am PC Wizard. Thanks for watching.